How is an English sentence formed? Do you want to know how? Then stay tuned to the rest of the video and learn with me. Welcome back and welcome to Everything English with me, Teacher Loki. So the question a while ago was, how is an English sentence formed? Alright, to answer your question, let me begin by saying every language has an underlying set of rules and English is no alien to that. This set of rules is called grammar. For this video, we will be discussing specifically the rule behind the structure of an English sentence. But before we learn the types of sentences according to structure, let us first learn the basic sentence elements. So imagine a sentence as a string of a pearl necklace. Every pearl or every bead is an element or a word that is added to make the sentence more detailed and meaningful. The first element in a sentence is a subject. It is a person, an animal, place or thing or concept that does an action. Determine the subject in a sentence by asking the question, who or what? Another element is the verb. It expresses what the person, animal, place, thing, or concept does. And you determine the verb in a sentence by asking the question, what was the action or what happened? Then we have a phrase. A phrase is a group of words without a subject or verb component. A phrase can function as a noun, a verb, preposition, adjective, and adverb. Lastly is the clause. There are two types of clauses. One is an independent clause, and it can stand alone as a sentence. It contains a subject and a verb and has a complete idea. Two is a dependent clause. A dependent clause is not a complete sentence. It must be attached to an independent clause to become complete. This is also known as a subordinate clause. Now, since we've already reviewed the sentence elements, let us proceed to the main discussion of this video. So, how is an English sentence structured? Here are the 4 English sentence structures. And what are we waiting for? Let's start learning. Starting with number 1. The first sentence structure is called a simple sentence. A simple sentence, from the name itself, contains a simple subject and a verb. And it may also have an object and modifiers. However, it contains only one independent clause, though you may add modifiers and phrases in the sentence. For example, she wrote. The subject is she and the verb is wrote. You can add more phrases to give this sentence more detail. For example, she wrote a letter. A letter here is the noun phrase that functions as a complement. It completes the thought of what the person is writing in the sentence. The second English sentence structure is called a compound sentence. A compound sentence contains at least 2 independent clauses. These 2 independent clauses can be combined with a comma and then a coordinating junction, or sometimes it can be combined with a semicolon. For example, she wrote a letter, comma, and she sent it afterwards. So the 2 independent clauses in this sentence are she wrote a letter and she sent it afterwards. The coordinating conjunction that is used in this sentence is the word and. Third English sentence structure is the complex sentence. A complex sentence contains at least 1 independent clause and at least 1 dependent clause. Dependent clauses can refer to the subject, who or which, or the sequence of time, we have since or while, or the causal elements, that is, because and if, of the independent clause. For example, She wrote a letter to the company because she wanted to request something. So, the independent clause in this sentence is she wrote a letter to the company, while the dependent clause is because she wanted to request something. And the subordinating conjunction that is used in this sentence is the conjunction because. Take note, if a sentence begins with a dependent clause, note the comma after this clause. On the other hand, the sentence begins with an independent clause, then there is no comma in between the clauses. The fourth English sentence structure is compound complex sentences. Sentence types can also be combined. A compound complex sentence contains at least two independent clauses and at least one dependent clause. For example, she wrote a letter, but she isn't sure if her request will be granted because she thinks it's just a petty concern. The independent clauses are she wrote a letter and she isn't sure if her request will be granted. These two independent clauses are combined with the conjunction but. And then the dependent clause is because she thinks it's just a petty concern. And it is combined, of course, with the compound sentence and through the conjunction because. And you're all set. But before we end this discussion about English sentence structures, let's do a quick wrap-up. So, once again, here are the four types of English sentence structure. Number one, simple sentence is equal to one independent clause. Number two, compound sentence is equal to two independent clauses. Number three, complex sentence is equal to one independent clause plus one dependent clause. And lastly, number four, compound complex is equal to two independent clauses plus one dependent clause. Now, I hope you enjoyed and learned a lot from this video. I'll promise to keep these English lessons coming. Please support me by liking and sharing this video. And don't forget, of course, to hit that subscribe button to this channel. And also, if you are interested in my personal life, you can watch my personal vlog. I will put the link in the description box below. If you have questions about English, language, and literature, please comment it down and I'll make sure to answer them in my next content. Thank you once again for watching, and I am Teacher Loki, and this is Everything English. Enjoy learning!